It happened to be just some random Wednesday, and out of the blue, we've now got insane new details with artwork concerning future updates for Helldivers 2, along with Arrowhead's CEO giving us even more details as to what they've got planned for the future. And like I said, this was all just totally unexpected, but definitely great to see. Welcome to the channel. I am LtBuzzLitebeer, and I'm going to be running through it all here for you, and there's a lot here to unpack, but first, remember to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. This one's going to be interesting, so fire up that drop pod and let's check out all the latest with Helldivers 2. As always, I've included chapters for a smooth viewing experience, and they are there just in case you want to repeat a section or say skip around one, as there is a spoilerish area at the end of this one, but I will give you a fair amount of warning once we get there. But first, we need to check out the latest from Arrowhead's CEO, who conducted a developer interview with PCGamer, where he kind of laid down a lot of new details for the future of Helldivers 2, as well as how they approach certain aspects of the game and everyday life at the studio. The headline for this one reads, "We have an actual person with the title of Game Master. A single Helldivers 2 dev named Joel is pulling the strings on its galactic war like an all-powerful D&D dungeon master. War will become more and more sophisticated over time," with a further headline follow-up of, "Arrowhead has noticed the attachments players have to planets and will make them more of a character in the future." Okay, so what if I told you that this push and pull of the different planet conflicts and kind of how it relates to the overall war effort was carefully planned and orchestrated behind the scenes over at Arrowhead through their Helldivers 2 Dungeon Master? Now, Johan, Arrowhead's CEO, revealed that the studio's employee's name is Joel, and he actually has this title of Game Master, kind of hearkening to the D&D trope of the Dungeon Master. In fact, Johan revealed that D&D has actually been a major inspiration for Arrowhead and Helldivers 2. Quote, "The studio aims to replicate collaborative, reactive storytelling of tabletop gaming in Helldivers 2, acknowledging the differences between designing a campaign for a small party versus millions of players." A point I find very interesting because Johan mentions tabletop gaming, and it's something that I've thought about when playing through Helldivers 2, although I've not spoken about it publicly, and it's definitely cool that it has served as an inspiration for the game design. This next bit is where it starts to get really interesting in terms of how the game is playing out behind the scenes, because Arrowhead says it has predictions about how the war will play out and has devised, quote, set pieces that it thinks will be significant, but in true tabletop fashion, the story will change based on player behavior. That's really cool to see. In fact, it already has. Game Master Joel has already had to grease the wheels for the enemy a few times when the Helldivers community proved a little too efficient at spreading liberty. According to Johan, Joel has had to make several quick adjustments in the past when players have proven too strong, such as providing the automatons a bit of reinforcements, making planet conquest a little harder. There was also the time when we took the first set of Terminid planets faster than the studio expected, leading to the incendiary mine segment, where we got to use that stratagem for free on all those missions, as we were able to lay defenses for the ground we had already conquered. And if you think about it, that's what an occupation force would do, right? Set up defenses and prepare for any counter-offensive. And again, really interesting to see it deployed here as part of the campaign, just on the fly, definitely adding to the immersive factor of this game. Further on, Johan also spoke about the future plans for Helldivers 2, citing players and their unexpected attachments they've developed with individual planets, say such as Malevolent Creek, leading players to mourn its loss, both because of its story significance and the fact that the planet is now inaccessible. Quote, "We look at the individual planets as there was a planet that we made that was good fun, and we have made so many of them, but the community's attachment to each planet is significant. So one of the things we're looking at internally is how we can reconsider these planets to become more of a character going forward." Again, some really interesting insight here into the sort of inner workings of the game. First is that Game Master, who has this overall ability to adapt to the player-enemy progress and install events in short order. The second point being that announcement that the dev team is looking at how to better integrate these revered planets into the core gameplay and make them, as Johan says, more of a character going forward. Okay, now onto that spoiler-ish section of today's coverage, and here is your fair warning. If you want to drop out now, you have been warned. And for those of you choosing to stay, we've got new details concerning upcoming and already tested stratagems. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, blast off. According to Reddit user Fozzie18, who has apparently recorded a clip of themselves playing the game and or testing it out, we're going to be getting a pilotable mech in Helldivers 2. Yeah, just let that one sink in. A pilotable mech. This one actually came in through bits and pieces, but there are apparently 2 pilotable mechs. The XO44, which is this rocket machine gun variant, and then we also have the XO48, which has autocannon armaments. They also seem to have answered some questions on Reddit and revealed further stratagems that they had witnessed in action, including, number 1, an energy RPG, number 2, a meteorite that hits like a nuke, and then the final thing is a group of Helldivers that can actually be called in to support you. Okay, so just the mechs alone, which by the way, mechs make everything cooler. Anyways, just that aspect alone is going to take what is already an awesome game to play and just make it even way cooler. And from the clips, this thing is already in the game, functional and ready to deploy. Those other future stratagems also sound pretty incredible, right? An energy RPG, which should prove useful versus the automatons, a meteorite, which can be called in, and this one sounds like it was ripped straight from the pages of Starship Troopers, and then an entire squad of Helldiver NPCs you can call in to reinforce your position. And this one's definitely interesting, but also makes me cringe a bit. I mean, we've already seen how some of our weaponry can't differentiate friend from foe. I mean, could you imagine an entire squad of NPCs, all with weapons, just going ham on waves of enemies? I mean, what would happen when you step in front of their bullet streams, or they just start shooting at a target that is now directly behind you? Anyways, let me know where you stand on these stratagems. I mean, the mech question is pretty obvious to me, as I think everyone is going to embrace this one. What about those other ones? Overall, a wild and unexpected day in HELLRIDERS news, both from that interview and this final clip here that has now made its way over to Reddit. Remember to hit subscribe and ring that notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. All my socials can be found in the video description, including Twitter and Discord, where I'm actually quite active on both. By the way, we have an up-and-coming HELLRIDERS 2 Discord community, complete with an LFG area and, of course, free voice channels. So once you actually find a squad, you can jump on those mics and coordinate your attacks. Again, check in the video description for an open invite link to that Discord. And again, it's all free and definitely worth a look. Shout out to the now over 196,000 of you that have already hit subscribe, and we are dangerously close to hitting 200K. And, you know, I would love to have you along for the ride as we hit that major milestone. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer signing off.